Live on DAZN Worldwide, April 26th, Eubank Jr versus Benn. 30 years of rivalry and hatred.
I do hate him.
All comes down to this. The next generation, a new destroyer. For family, history, legacy. Eubank Jr versus Benn, April 26th. Buy now at DAZN.com/boxing.
This is Charlie Parsons for the Stomping Ground, powered by Wow Hydrate and available on the fantastic DAZN, not with Gary Neville as you first thought,
Yeah, I
Tony.
did, and listen, I thought, for some reason, I thought you were part of the show that they do, which is unbelievable. I mean, it's probably the best podcast in the world. But, well, it's not even a podcast, is it? It's a show. And what's the name of it? The Overlap. And they're amazing. I've been on it a couple of times. And
so our content was so good, you thought, wow, they must be
just
part
the
of the
Stomping
Overlap.
Ground just resonates with the Overlap. I don't know why.
I take that, mate.
It's punchy. Listen, when you've been punched
in, when
you've been punched in the face for 25 years, and that averages out.
Don't use that as the excuse. Just say it was so supreme of a media channel. It had nothing to do with the punching.
You've just said it. There you go.
How are you, mate? How's life?
I'm surviving, lad. I can't complain. Could be worse.
Good man, good man. We are here in London ahead of the weigh-in, the ceremonial weigh-in.
Yeah.
Well, we saw everything that happened earlier. Let's go straight into it.
To be honest, I'm just going to butt in. Sorry, I haven't seen any of the pictures. I don't know what people look like.
I can show you while we do the interview.
Okay,
that makes absolutely fantastic.
Okay.
Chris Eubank Jr.
Yeah.
has uploaded some videos of his weight cut. Now, obviously, initially weighed in, came an hour late. Weighed in at 160.2.
Okay.
He then, I believe, kind of sat around. I'm hearing word of mouth is he kind of was a little bit sulky, and then with a little bit of time to go, tried to get the rest of it off, and came in at 160.05, which is the smallest of margins. This is the weight cut video that he's posted off the back of making the weight.
I've been through it, I know, I understand it. And he's tried, listen, he's tried his very best. I don't care what anyone's opinion is, he's tried his very best. I've been there and I've done that, and I've felt that pain. It's hard, and it's lonely, it's really hard.
$500,000 for half an ounce.
I feel it, mate, but that's the difference. Is did you make weight or did you not, Parsons? That's the difference, mate, I'm sorry. And I know it's hard. Mate, I know, I've done it. Look, making 12 stone 7 used to absolutely brutalise me. The last time I made it against Adonis Stevenson, I reckon that's the closest I've come to death.
That's what I mean. Some of these weight cuts obviously brutal.
But don't get me wrong, you do get it back on, and you get it twice. You get twice as much back on that you've lost.
Well, that's what I was going to ask, because obviously now he's got that £10 rehydration limit.
8 o'clock in the morning.
At 8 o'clock tomorrow morning,
yeah.
Allowing him to put on, what, let's say £10.
He's heavier than £10 right now.
Of course.
I would imagine he's £16, 14 to £16 right now.
He'll lose a few overnight, right?
Yeah.
And then a small cut again in the morning?
I don't know, because his body's in shock. His body's in shock right now, so I'm not sure he will lose anything in his sleep, because you've put your body in shock, and when you do that, it refuses to give up. It refuses to give up any weight that it would usually give overnight. But if he's drank enough water and he's had enough of the correct salts and electrolytes that he needs in his body, then potentially it might give up 2 or 3 pounds overnight. But believe you me, he's skipping in the morning. He's skipping, or he's back on that bike in the morning, what you've just showed me. And I know, because I've seen fighters do it over the years, and I know fighters who have done it. I said before, Kell Brook used to do it all the time. Kell was a master at making 147. But it used to be really hard for him. Kell's one of the biggest and most fullest welterweights this country's produced, and the way he used to make the weight was hard. It was really hard on him, and it's been really hard on Chris Eubank Jr. I don't deny that. But he signed up for this, Parsons. He agreed to this. Don't agree to fights and weights that aren't possible. They obviously are possible, because he's made the weight a few times over the recent years, but he's miscalculated this one by the smallest of margins, and he's paid the heaviest of prices, literally.
How detrimental could this be for him tomorrow?
It'll have no effect on the fight.
You don't?
No.
You don't think so?
No effect
Even
at
if
all.
He's having to get that sweatsuit on in the morning on the same day?
Because the hardest, he's gone through the hardest part now. It won't be hard to get it off tomorrow, because he's got the energy. He's got the reserves in him. The body will give it up, because he's fed it and he's fueled it. So it will come off quite easy tomorrow. It won't be hard getting it off. The problem he has is what he puts in his body. That's your problem right there. You have to put the correct things in your body after weigh-ins. That is the most pivotal thing. I used to listen to fighters years ago, and I was one of them. I used to go to Nando's after weigh-ins. So stupid, the things I'd do. And Kerry Cage used to tell me, Tone, it's not good for you. You haven't been on Nando's for the last 3 months. Why are you doing it?
Can't just randomly put that in your body then, yeah.
Why are you just going to put this in your body? After, put the right things in your body. So I would, my carbs would be timed carbs at the right times, at the right places. Carbs on before sparring, carbs in the morning, no carbs after 2 p.m. in the day. It's got to all be burnt off. So when you're putting the right carbs in, it's got to be pasta. You want the best stuff, gluten-free stuff and all that kind of stuff. You just need it to flow through your body. You need your body to be responding the way it did in camp. You need your body to be working when you were sparring. And whatever you was doing and you had your best sparring sessions, that's where you need to be on fight night. Because you need to be the same way you was in sparring on your best sparring sessions and how you feel most full. And then you also need to be putting that fuel in, what's got you over the line, give you the energy to keep moving and moving and moving. So it's a science, but no one will know the body better than Chris. So I don't anticipate it being a problem in any way, shape or form. But I also will give the lad credit and say he's tried 100% to make that weight. He's not pissed around with this, mate, because I don't care how much
money. The finest of margins,
I don't care how much money you're making tomorrow night. $500,000 is $500,000. Simple as that. In whichever way you want to put it.
Already got a fine for the egg slap as well. Possible fine tomorrow if he doesn't make that £170 limit.
Yeah, listen, I need to see where these fines are going, as a few boxers have already put out there. I've said it for years. The boxing board needs to be held culpable and needs to be responsible and let us know where it's going. And I don't want to hear it's going to boxing funds or former fighters, because I've been retired a while and I haven't heard a single pen. I haven't heard a single peep. And I know a number of fighters. I've just bumped into one on the street, Oleksandr. And David Walker, just bumped into them, just had a picture with the two guys. They asked me for the picture and speaking to them. There's a lot of fighters out there that the board needs to help, because they're helping themselves. So I just think they need to help them. And listen, I think Robert Smith's a great fella. I think he's done a good job at the boxing board, but it goes way beyond Robert Smith, and they need to let us know what they're doing with this money and how you help fighters. They really do.
Conor Benn getting a lot of praise online for coming in at 156, just over, not forcing himself to weigh in.
No, it'd be silly. Be silly.
159.
I only speak from experience. When I fought David A, first fight I made a mistake, came in at 15.3. I weighed 15.7 the morning of the weigh-in. I knew I was too heavy, but I was trying to bulk up thinking it's going to help. For the rematch, I came in bang on 15 stone. That's my perfect weight. If I could fight any weight, it'd be 15 stone bang on. Conor's done the same. Bang on. Good on him.
Very rarely in the history of elite level boxing does a fighter move up 2 weight divisions and win. How does Conor Benn go up and do this?
It does happen. It does happen more than you think.
At the elite
how many weight divisions has Inoue gone through? How many weight divisions did Manny Pacquiao go through? How many weight divisions did Floyd Mayweather go through?
In terms of one fight,
they're all at the elite level.
So my kind of
these aren't elite level fighters. First of all, not yet. One of them, they may turn out. I'm not going to say they never will, because that's not fair. They may end up that one day, but right now this is a European level fight, if I'm being fair. And Conor jumping up to, you've got to remember, Chris has not always been a 160 fighter. He's been 154, he's been 160, he's been 168. Conor's flirted around 154. Conor's been 147. Conor's still had to cut weight himself. But it is what it is. They agreed to a weight limit. Stick to it. That's it.
How does Conor go about a victory tomorrow night in your eyes, Tony?
The pace and the ferocity is everything. He fights on emotion. He's going to draw upon that emotion tomorrow, and I think he'll get rid of him within 6 rounds.
You think he does it tomorrow night?
Yeah, I think he gets rid of him in 6 rounds. But if he doesn't, there's a flip side to that coin. That's a lot of trouble, because the back end 6 against the guy who is bigger it's a problem. That's when the size comes into play. And I'm not saying Chris Eubank's going to win only because he's bigger. No, he's going to have to show a good boxing brain. He's going to have to show elite defence to keep Conor off, and that's what he's going to have to show. And if he can, then fair play. May the best man win. But I just think the style that Conor possesses and the ferocity that he fights at, I can't see anything but a Conor Benn victory.
Just quickly, on the other hand, does Eubank need to keep it long and box like the bigger man? Does he need to almost go in there? It's an 18 by 18 ring, right?
Do you know what, Parsons? He's not the best boxer, if we're being totally honest, is he? I mean, he's a better fighter than he is a boxer, if I'm being totally honest. When he lets his hands go in combinations, he's a good scrapper up close. He's a good inside fighter. He gets stuck in. I don't know why he's trying to morph into Roy Jones Jr. No one can ever be Roy Jones Jr. So don't you try and be. I don't see how this could be a bad fight. I don't see how Chris is going to keep Conor off. He's going to get hit tomorrow night. He doesn't have the best defence, Chris Eubank Jr., and he doesn't have the best work rate. That means, and that spells, and that you put two equal signs next to that when you merge the two styles together. If these two were like, what would you say, like it was a formula. If this two was a chemical formula, putting one side and one side on the other, it can't not mix well. You're an average boxer with a very average defence. You're a very aggressive fighter with a huge output. You put them two chemicals together, what does it make? Makes a blast.
British blockbuster.
That's what it makes, and I think that's what you'll get tomorrow night.
Very quickly, what did you make of everything at the press conference yesterday? There were a couple of main takeaways from me. Big Frank Smith got substituted in for Eddie Hearn.
You know what? The only thing I didn't like was you can't. They've played the blinder again. Listen, one thing I'll give Chris, he's in control of everything. Yeah. He's in control of every scenario. I've got to give him credit for doing that. He really is. Kid's smart. What I didn't like is he played them yesterday because he let Ben Shalom talk freely first. So you can't say no one wants to hear what Eddie Hearn's got to say, but then everyone wants to hear what Ben Shalom's got to say. That's just not fair.
Can we get you in very quickly?
So what he done, I didn't like what he done yesterday. So when he said that, so I was saying yesterday, he played people again, Chris. Yeah. So he purposefully let Ben Shalom speak first. Yeah. Let him because according to Chris Eubank Jr., his words were, no one wants to hear Ben speak, no one wants to hear Eddie speak. Yeah. So why do you let Ben speak and let a full tirade out and a full conversation, and then Eddie starts speaking and you shut him down, and then he shuts you down? Doesn't make sense. You either want to hear from both or you want to hear from none. You can't have it both ways.
Especially, and he says I'm super irrelevant. I mean, Shalom, where does he come from? He was a postman last year.
Do you know what? These are a lot of that. Do you know what? They're all at it. It's brilliant. Like I said, and I told Ben to his face, you're doing great. Keep doing what you're doing. I love it. All these are working together. Some people might get on, some people might not get on. This is brilliant for boxing, and it's down to His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh. They're all coming together. So they're all back and forth, they're having banter, they're turning back at each other, but I don't care what your agendas are, you're working together, and that's the most important thing. Boxing is the most important combat sport in the world again, and His Excellency has got an awful lot to do with that, so thank you.
Lastly from me, Chris Eubank Jr. made himself quite vulnerable at the press conference, and actually I feel like...
Parsons, I don't even want to speak about it because it just breaks me heart. It shouldn't be getting played out in the media.
That's how I asked him, and I said, families go through things, but you're having to open Twitter to see it, you're having to open Instagram to see it.
Listen, I've been where he's been, and it makes me upset that what that poor family's been through. So it shouldn't be getting played out in the media.
Is it fair, Chris Eubank
No, it's not fair.
Coming out?
No, it's not fair. No, the media are a fucking disgrace. They shouldn't be going to him, asking about his son. The father and the son should be able to talk about it themselves. It shouldn't be getting played out for the media. It isn't a soap, it's real life. A man has lost his son. A fucking man has lost his son. A father and a mother have lost a son. No parent should ever have to go through that, ever. No one will ever understand that pain. A brother and sisters losing the sibling. No, people just don't understand that pain. It's the worst pain in the world. The worst pain in the world. It destroys families. I've witnessed it firsthand. I've been part of it. So it shouldn't be getting played out. I don't really believe in much, and I don't really pray. But I swear to God, if I did pray, I'd pray for that family to come together. Go and see your son, go and see your dad, because it could be us tomorrow. You never know. It breaks me heart, mate, it really does. So that's all I've got to say on that. Thanks,
it really
mate.
is sad. Tony,
watching
Bellew,
the Stomping Ground.
Thank you ever so much for your time, as always.
Live on DAZN Worldwide, April 26th, Eubank Jr versus Benn. 30 years of rivalry and hatred.
I do hate him.
All comes down to this. The next generation, a new destroyer. For family, history, legacy. Eubank Jr versus Benn, April 26th. Buy now at DAZN.com/boxing.